Why peaceful women intimidate insecure people is not something most women set out to do. It's rarely intentional. It's usually something that happens quietly, without effort, and without performance. I noticed it slowly, not in dramatic moments, but in small reactions. A pause that lasted too long. A comment that felt unnecessary. A tension that appeared in places where there shouldn't have been any. There was a time when I thought peace made you invisible, that being calm meant being overlooked, that softness meant you would be passed by in louder rooms. But over time, something else became clear. Peace doesn't disappear into the background. It stands out. Not loudly, not aggressively, but unmistakably. Peaceful women don't rush to fill silence. They don't scramble to be understood. They don't over-explain their emotions to make others comfortable. And that alone can be unsettling. Because insecurity relies on noise, on validation, on constant feedback. Insecure people need reassurance the way some people need caffeine. Frequently, externally, immediately. So when they encounter someone who doesn't need to prove herself, who doesn't seek approval, who doesn't react the way they expect, something inside them tightens. It's not envy exactly. It's exposure. A peaceful woman becomes a mirror. And insecure people don't like what they see reflected back. There was a moment when I realized this. I was sitting across from someone who was restless. Their words came quickly. Their tone shifted often. They kept searching my face for a reaction. And I wasn't withholding anything. I was simply present, listening, calm, grounded. The discomfort in the room wasn't created by me doing something wrong. It came from me not doing what they needed. Not needing reassurance. Not needing control. Not needing to win the moment. Peace removes the familiar dynamic, and insecurity doesn't know how to survive without it. A peaceful woman doesn't compete, and that alone can feel threatening. Competition gives insecure people a structure, a way to measure worth, a way to stay oriented. When that structure disappears, they feel unanchored. They may try to provoke a reaction. They may question your intentions. They may label your calm as arrogance, or distance, or coldness. But calm isn't cold. It's clarity. Peaceful women have usually lived through emotional noise already. They've known confusion. They've known overthinking. They've known the cost of emotional chaos. Peace is not naivety. It's earned. And that history shows in how they move through the world. They don't rush to respond. They don't defend every boundary. They don't chase connection at the expense of self-respect. This can be deeply unsettling to someone who feels internally unstable, because insecurity is loud inside, even when it appears confident on the surface. So when someone carries quiet steadiness, it disrupts the balance. There's nothing to push against, nothing to dominate, nothing to extract. Peaceful women don't play emotional games. They don't reward chaos with attention. They don't negotiate their worth in conversation. And that absence can feel like rejection to someone who depends on reaction. I used to think intimidation came from power displays, from confidence that takes up space. But real intimidation is subtler. It comes from self-sufficiency, from emotional independence, from not needing the room to validate your existence. Peaceful women don't demand space. They simply occupy it fully. And that presence carries weight, not because it's forceful, but because it's complete. There's also something else that happens. Peaceful women are hard to manipulate. They notice patterns without obsessing over them. They sense emotional shifts without panicking. They trust their internal signals. Insecure people often rely on emotional reactions to feel in control. They test boundaries. They provoke. They watch closely. When none of that works, they feel exposed. Peace removes leverage. And without leverage, insecurity feels powerless. This is often misunderstood. Peaceful women are not passive. They are selective. They don't react to everything because they don't need to. They don't absorb emotional chaos because they've learned the cost. Their calm is not emptiness. It's fullness. And fullness doesn't beg to be filled. Over time, I stopped shrinking my calm to make others comfortable. I stopped explaining my quiet. I stopped softening my boundaries with unnecessary words, not because I wanted to intimidate anyone, but because peace is fragile when constantly justified. I learned that discomfort in others is not always a signal to adjust yourself. Sometimes it's a signal that you are standing in your truth. Peaceful women often lose people, not through conflict, but through quiet distance. Because insecurity seeks reassurance, and peace doesn't offer it endlessly. This isn't cruel. It's natural. Not everyone can exist comfortably around stillness. Some people need turbulence to feel alive. Others need calm to stay whole. Neither is inherently wrong, but they don't coexist easily. So when peaceful women intimidate insecure people, it's not because they are superior. It's because they are internally aligned. They don't outsource their worth. They don't borrow confidence from reactions. They don't measure themselves against others. And that independence can feel like rejection to someone who lives externally. In the end, peace isn't about being unbothered. It's about being rooted. And roots don't move just because the surface becomes restless. A peaceful woman doesn't need to announce her strength. It's felt. And those who are secure recognize it as calm. Those who are insecure experience it as threat. Not because peace is dangerous, but because it reveals what noise has been hiding all along.